Let's talk about how to change your life so fast that it feels like magic. The fastest way to do this is to expose yourself to things that you've never been exposed to before. Because just like that, in one instant, everything can change. This has been a recurring theme in my life in the past few weeks, even, where it's been clear to me that, you know, if you haven't been exposed to something, then quite frankly, it gets really hard to comprehend it. It's like talking to someone who has never met God or who doesn't believe in God. It's like if you've never met God or if you've never had an encounter like that, then yeah, it's going to be really hard for you to really understand. So the remedy that I have to this is to expose yourself to things that you've never done before. I um I was watching something probably at the beginning of this year, and it was something like uh, do something that you've never done before once a week. And if you do something that you've never done before once a week, very quickly your entire life can change, and that's just so real. And just an example, it doesn't have to be something massive, right? It could be, you take a certain route every day, and one day of the week you decide to take a route that you've never taken before. You go down a street that you've never been on. Now, obviously a lot of bad things can happen when you do things that you've never done before. But so can a lot of the good things. And in fact, it's still the only way. I mean, you have to fail, right? If you want to get to where you want to go. So it's going to take going through some bad experiences as you veer off the well-trodden path. But and how do you do it so fast? Let's go back to how do you do this so fast that it feels like magic? Well, instead of doing that once a week, do it every day. Do one thing every day that you've never done before. It could be talking to someone in your proximity. It could be just walking into a park and walking around for a few minutes. In fact, those are some of the best types of ways to do it, is to get outside and go into nature and find other people in nature, because there's a common thread there that you might even see is potentially spiritual when you're outside and you're you know enjoying your humanity alongside of the rest of human nature and all of nature. But yeah, so to accelerate that path of change, then continue to do more things that you've never done before in a shorter period of time. So instead of once a week, every day. Maybe it's not every day. Maybe it's every 6 hours, right? Every 6 hours, every 4 hours, every 2 hours, every hour. Do something that you've never done before. And very rapidly, your life is just going to flip around in ways that you couldn't even imagine. And what prompted me to make this video is I actually had this in my notes for quite some days of, the power of exposure and how people are often limited by what they've been exposed to. And quite frankly, like, it's not always a choice, or at least I know in my life, right? Like, I've been very blessed to have been around certain things and to have been exposed to certain things. That was given to me. I understand that. So, you know, I got this comment on one of my videos the other day or yesterday about how there's no way that I was able to achieve a certain financial milestone at 22 years old. And it honestly, it made me sad, because I'm sitting here and I'm like, first off, in the whole video, I talk about how what I had accomplished was massive and I didn't recognize it. But at the same time, like, brother, like 100K at 22 is nothing compared to what I've seen in my life, just straight up from my peers. I mean, I was way behind. You see, and this was part of the reason that, it's over there if you want to watch that video. It was part of the reason why I wasn't able to take in how much it really was. And it wasn't 100K either. I'm like, dude, you're talking about 100K, but I'm talking about 500K. Like, did you listen? Did you watch the video? And then on top of that, like I said, I mean, I was around young people that were millionaires well before I ever achieved my first 100K, and I'm talking about people that were worth millions of dollars as young people. And anyways, so it's sad because we have to take it upon ourselves to find ways to get exposure to different types of life, different things that would be completely unbelievable if we weren't otherwise exposed to it. We have to actively do that. So, this is just a note to the self here as well of what that can look like and how that transcends at different levels. I was listening to someone talk about this very recently as well, where it was just like Myron Golden was talking about this and how he was talking to a billionaire. I think he tells this story often, and how that billionaire was talking to him and he was like, Myron, like, you could do so much better. He talked about once how he was making like $30,000 a month, and how when he said that at some conference, he was like talking to somebody at a conference, and they were like, "Oh, okay, you're good job. You got a good start going," and he was like, "Off to a good start. Like, I'm at 30K a month," and then he told the story about the billionaire. And this is a recurring theme in life in general. It's all about what you've been exposed to and how can you get yourself in those rooms, or just even virtually. We talk about this all the time. Read a book that exposes you to ideas and mindsets from people that you would otherwise not have access to. But that exposure is everything. But yeah, I was very saddened by that comment, because I was like, dang, man, like, I've seen my failures and my little successes that I've had here and there as minuscule. And at the same time, this person doesn't even believe that that was something that occurred. And, it's not always like that individual's fault. And that's why I wanted to put this out for anyone who might have wanted to hear something like that, about how exposure can really change everything, and how, if you're watching this, you can do something about that. See you next time.